In John chapter 13, starting in verse 1, it says, "Now, before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from God and went to God, he riseth from supper, and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that he poureth water into a basin, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Jesus answered and said unto him, What I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus saith unto him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, Ye are not all clean. So after he had washed their feet, and had taken his garments, and was set down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done to you? Ye call me Master and Lord, and ye say well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If ye know these things, happy are ye, if ye do them." As we've explained many times before, is that the whole idea of foot washing is an example to show our humility. We know that the disciples at that time were not showing humility, because when they came to the supper, they came in, there was no servant or slave there to wash their feet, so they go, well, I'm not about to wash my own feet, and I'm not going to wash everybody else's feet. So they came in, sat down, and had their meal with Jesus, and they were very surprised when Jesus got up, took his outer garment off, put a towel around his waist, and started washing their feet. And he was teaching them humility, saying, you guys ain't got it right. Even to this very day, you've been with me for 3 years, and you still haven't got it. And that's the whole idea, is that we do this as an example to show humility, that we are not above anybody else. There are a lot of people, and as I said a little bit earlier, a lot of times people do things in a service because that's the only way they've been taught, so they don't know any different. But there are a lot of people that try to skate around this, either by taking the verse completely out or taking the passage out. And we've seen in some versions there's complete passages taken out, and they give a lot of reasons for that. But a lot of people say, well, this was only symbolism. Well, that's true. Well, so was the bread and wine. And so the idea of the foot washing is that we should continue to do that. Why? Because Jesus said so. How many parents have told their children to do something, and the children go, well, why do I need to do that? And they say, because I said so. And Jesus is telling them, I want you to do this because I've done it to you, and you should do it to each other. And so a lot of times churches will come up with excuses for not doing well. Our congregation's too large, or somebody might be offended, or somebody might not want to touch the other person's feet. What?
My feet are ugly.
You know, or my feet are ugly, or I've got a tattoo on my foot and I don't want anybody to see it, or it could be a lot of different things. But the point is, it all comes back to the same thing, is that Jesus told us we needed to do this. And if he says we need to do it, we should do it in the way that is to be done. Same thing with the bread and wine. There are some people, now I'm not going to get into the debate about using wine because people are an alcoholic and they're trying to stay away from it. I understand all of that, and we won't get into that, but I've actually known of places that have used little pieces of candy bar and Coca-Cola as the represent the bread and the wine. It's like, oh, that's stretching it a little bit for me. Or some people will go by and they'll brush the person's shoes or something like that and say, well, see, it's a symbolism. I'm washing their feet. I'm representing that. No, that's not what Jesus said. Jesus got on the ground, on his knees, and took their dirty, stinking feet and washed them with his own hands. That was about to be pierced for their sins. Mm-hmm. And so that's something for people that you need to pray about, you need to think about, and then you can go from there with that. But that's the whole point that he was trying to get across. And so as we close this out, what we want to understand, if you on your own read John chapter 13 through 18, what we understand is that we today still do the communion service, the bread and the wine and the washing of the feet. Well, why is it that we do that? We've been doing this for over 2,000 years. Well, when's enough enough? And if you read chapter of John, chapters 13 through 18, it will tell you that, and it will explain all that to you. And then we pick it up in verse 30, where it says that after they had finished everything, they sung a hymn, and then they left. We typically pray to end a church service to let everybody know the service is over. But when we partake of communion, we sing a song and leave without praying. And the whole tradition of that is to say, we're not ending this service of communion. We are continuing on, and we will continue to do this, never ending it until the Lord comes back to take us home.